a school for next year, this over the next few minutes, this conversation is for you.
Hey, good evening. So Jay Miller, proud superintendent of Rocketship Public Schools, Texas. Also a very proud parent of two Rocketeers. So good evening. Glad to have you and look forward to engaging in dialogue about Rocketship.
I'm a dad of three children. Sajid is a father as well, as he spoke to a moment ago. And being a parent is a huge decision. It's a huge responsibility, and especially the decision around finding a school for your child, especially in the formative years. So choosing your child's school is a very big decision. So we just want to amplify that, highlight that, just say that it is a big decision, and you want to get it right. And we as parents want to get it right. So let's talk about that, why that's such a big decision and why you might be feeling some anxiety about this. Well, first of all, there are 81 public elementary schools just in the city of Fort Worth. That's not even to mention any of the surrounding elementary schools in the areas just outside the outskirts of town. Will my child be safe at school? And I think safety means a lot of things in the world that we live in. I think there's danger in the world, not wondering about external forces coming in to harm a child. And so that's a big question. And I think a secondary thing when people are talking about safety is, even when my child be bullied at school, is it going to be a safe environment for my child? Mr. Miller, do you have thoughts on school safety?
Absolutely. I think particularly with in today's time, school safety is the top of every parent's mind. Will my child be safe? What measures are in place? And I can tell you that we are going to do everything in our power to ensure that every single Rocketeer is safe, not only while they're with us, but upon arrival, during transition times and during dismissal times. Again, I am not only the superintendent, but I have privilege. My favorite job is dad, right? And so I have the opportunity to experience Rocketship as a parent as well. And I could say that I am proud that both as a superintendent and as a parent, I entrust the leaders of our schools with my most valuable asset, which are my children. And I can say that it is our mission to ensure that every parent walks away with a degree of comfort and pride in the measures that we're putting in place. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Will people always, is there always something we can be doing to improve and enhance safety? Absolutely. But safety is something that we take very seriously. We were awarded a Safe Schools grant when designing the building. And so everything from exterior security, lack of access prevention, the drills, additional factors that I won't talk about publicly, advanced technology, very advanced technology. I'm very proud in our level of vigilance as well as in our response protocols for the safety of students.
What does equal access to quality education for all mean to you?
I think it's the beauty of America. The beauty of our country is that we are one of the only countries that educate all students, despite economic backgrounds, ability, race, gender, etc. We strive to prepare a citizenry that is educated and prepared for the future. That's no different than Rocketship. All means all. And so we pride ourselves on not only creating an environment, not only ensuring we have quality teachers, not only ensuring we have a robust academic program that responds to students' unique needs, but equally as important to that is eliminating barriers to access. That means transportation for our students. That means before and after school care for our students. That means no discrimination and no looking through application. If there's an open seat and you apply, we want you. And all of the great things and all of the things that you want us to be intentionally focused on, all means all. Quality is non-negotiable, and we can't just have quality for all without providing access, which means no barriers to entry, no barriers to access.
With those of you who are tuning in right now and watching this, I want you to get a look at our school campus. So I'm going to share a look at our school campus for you. we have two campuses. As I cue this up, we have two campuses here in Fort Worth. We have Rocket Ship Explorer, which is off of Highway. It's 300 East 820, and then we have Rocket Ship Dennis Duncan's, which I'll talk about more in a moment, which is our first school that opened last year off of East Berry Street. This is Rocket Ship Dennis Duncan's.
I feel confident that Rocket Ship was the right choice for me and my kid because just growing up in the school system that I was in, she's able to accomplish so much more than I was in school. It just makes me feel happy that she could even get that type of education. As a mom, to know that she's at a school like Rocket Ship is great because you guys are on top of everything.
I think there are some guiding factors, right? That really shade where we go and why we do what we do, right? And so number one is partnership and a deep investment into the community. We want to go to where we can not only just be the facilitator of learning in four exterior walls, we want to go to where we can invest and in the community and also learn from the community. So you mentioned Sierra. Sierra was one of my students when I was principal at Dunbar High School, right? And so that right there embodies what we're trying to create. We're trying to create a family-like environment with deep roots in the community so that we can celebrate the rich history of the environment of the community and the neighborhoods, as well as use that as capital to accelerate learning. And so we go into neighborhoods where there is a need, to be frank with you, and the results have been astonishing in the amount of the extent of the response from parents like Sierra and others who say, I want to go here. I want to be a part of this. And we don't go and do anything to communities. We do things with communities in service of communities, for communities, as community members. And so it's very important to me that we don't just drop in and say, we're going to open a school. But we're invited. There's a series of cultivating conversations that occur with various stakeholders throughout the community. There's a substantiated need proven by data that shows that there is a need for a quality option in that particular area. And then we go. And then we open. And it's been a journey. It took about 3 years to open our first campus. But I'm so proud of not only the work that's happening inside of the building, I'm more equally as proud of the pride that's radiating throughout the community, where you have parents in their Rocket Ship shirts going to vote as a group, where you have people at the grocery store being proud to be their Rocketeers, where you see the true community impact in the associations and the partnerships that we forge with various community stakeholders. I'm very proud of that. And we seek to establish the mutualistic or symbiotic relationship in each community that we serve. The same is true for our site located in the Woodhaven community. We really want to be community partners, invest deeply after we learn significantly about what the community wants for its future via the education of its children.
I appreciate that. And I was thinking about Dennis Duncan's and how his name resonates in the Fort Worth community. And we're going to talk about parent power in just a moment, but just so as those of you are watching and listening in, our parents choose the name of our schools. And so parents from the community chose Dennis Duncan's and what he means to the community. So I'm very proud of that. And they chose Rocket Ship Explorer as well, that opened just this past year. So let's take a look at Rocket Ship Explorer right now.
I have a total of 6 kids. I wanted something different for the last 3 because my kids were diagnosed with certain things. And with Mr. Sanchez, he taught me that I have a voice. I can advocate for my kids. They listen to you. So then he had me come check it out, talk with the principals, talk with Letty. And just hearing what they had to offer is what I was looking for. It was the best decision.
A couple of things I want to just lay out for us before I talk about launch, but I'll describe what that is in just a moment, is that Rocket Ship Public Schools, which we have 2 campuses we've been talking about, Rocket Ship Dennis Duncan's off of East Berry and Rocket Ship Explorer off of East Loop 820 are charter schools. And so If you don't know what a charter school, it is a public school. A charter school is a public school. It is free. It is free. There is no charge to be here. There is an application process that you go through. But if there's a seat available and you apply, it is open for you. So we are taking applications right now. That QR code is on the screen. I'll have an opportunity at the end of our time together to kind of talk to you a little bit more about that. But seats are going fast, and they will not last at both campuses. They are filling up. There will be waiting lists. So if you want to make sure that you, your grandchild, your friend, your neighbor needs to be at a Rocketship school, I suggest you scan that QR code and you reserve your seat right now. And then starting next year at both campuses, we're going to have fifth grade at both campuses, which is like a really big deal for us. Mr. Miller, how excited are you about having fifth grade at our campuses?
I'm thrilled. And one of those fifth graders is one of my sons. But I'm really excited about this is the transition year. And so I'm thrilled about ensuring, and we are pre-K through fifth only. And so it is my responsibility to ensure that we're maintaining those academic habits and we're preparing students to go to their next school of choice, whether it be their neighborhood school or whether it be another charter school or whatever option the parents have. But we are thrilled about this first group of students entering the fifth grade. Of course, they take the Science STAR test as well as the reading and math test that they're already accustomed to, and we're confident that we'll prepare them to exceed what is expected of them. So, really big opportunity for our community. It does take our enrollment to another level. So, to your point, Mr. Ulibarri, seats and availability that we're filling, and that's a good good problem to have, I guess. But I'm sort of overwhelmed and with excitement about the opportunity and the possibilities and what this really means for our community. And it's our responsibility to ensure that this fifth grade group, once they go through another year, they are ready and prepared to go and thrive at the middle school of their choice.
And I love that you said that, because one of the commitments we make to families is that if a child will start with us in the early years, pre-K, kindergarten, by the time they leave us in the fifth grade, the pledge we make to families is they will be reading at or above grade level. We want to make sure that they're adequately prepared, to Mr. Miller's point, to excel. And it's why we're Rocketship. We're launching students into middle school and high school and college and beyond, so they have a solid foundation moving forward. I want to show a video about launch, and then I'd love Mr. Magis to talk a little bit about at launch at Rocketship.
Good morning, Rocketeers!
We start every day at Rocketship with launch, which is a time for us to come together as a united community.
We sing, we dance, we get motivated for the day, and we also ground ourselves in our core values. It's a time when we dig deeper into what it means to demonstrate our core values. And it's a time to scream and let that out and be goofy and connect on that level as well.
Yes, I think the goal really is to understand how students interact with the world, understanding self-regulation, understanding the importance of setting the tone and temperament, however they define that, for them to be successful at learning. We provide a toolkit, right? Education is about making sure that we place strategic tools in the box so they can take with them throughout life. My children at home, they will let me take 5, or let me blow up my balloon, and let me pop my problem. And so you see them in real time throughout the day, utilizing self-regulation strategies, mindfulness. We're not teaching them how to think. We're not teaching virtue or character lessons per se. What we are teaching them is that they are a component of their environment. They have agency and they have a responsibility to be good stewards of the investment that the community is making to them, the time that their parents and their educators are spending pouring into them. And we as a system want to help them understand and embrace what that really means. Not only, and it's not just about, during the day, it is so much bigger than that. It is about skills for life. And you'd be surprised how the transition from waking up, and I know how it is in my house, we're moving fast and furious to get there on time. And then to let them know, so glad you're here.
Mhm.
Now let us transition to the learning space. And then we dance, we play, we have fun. I think I've seen Mr. Magis do a gritty or two, or some of the dances, and they do all of the dances they teach us. They like have making fun of us old people trying to do their dances, but we do it in the name of love. And once we get them excited about learning, then we help them understand their place and how they contribute to the environment. And it's fascinating to see students as they walk in those doors excel and be prepared to walk out those doors ready for learning.
Because we're teaching them not only how to be successful in learning, but also in life as well, right? This year, parent power is a very big deal to us at Rocketship Texas, and this is why it's so important to us. The entire Rocketship movement was born from parents who felt like they didn't have agency over their child's education, that because they were in an area that was under resourced, or they lacked resources, they lacked privilege, they didn't have access to the same quality education as maybe someone who was more affluent had. And they weren't willing to take no for an answer. And even in the story and the narrative Rocketship Texas, parents stood up in this community and said, we demand change. We want something better for our children, and we're not going to wait another 5 or 10 years. We want it now. So they spoke up. They went to the State Board of Education. They used their voice. They used their power. They organized. And it is the core of who we are. It is parents fighting for the future of their children. And I know as a parent, as a dad, that's something that I worked on every day when they were little. And now that they're not so little, I'm still working on it every day, fighting for the future of our children. And parent power is the core of what we do, because our story begins and ends with parents. You've heard Mr. Miller and Mr. Magis talk about how families are so integral to what we do. We actually have parent rooms on campus where parents can come and they can stay in those rooms, and they can work remotely in those rooms. They can volunteer to serve breakfast, and they can be a part of what we do every day. We not only tolerate, we invite, we celebrate parents on campus. Parents are the lifeblood of who we are and what we do. Quality. I want to talk a little bit about, we touched on it earlier about teachers, but what does personalized learning look like, Mr. Miller, in classrooms?
So it can range, right? It truly varies, right? From in terms of addressing academic learning gaps, to accelerating to actualize the full potential in every student. It's really about understanding of what the baseline is and making strategic, data-informed decisions. So the non-negotiable is a rigorous, quality, Tier 1 academic experience. Right, we are part of the High Quality Instructional Materials Grant, and so we have state vetted, TEAC aligned teacher additions that are rigorous and at level. And we understand that there is nothing more, I think it's unequal, as educating unequal children equally. And so personalized learning is about understanding what the diagnostic information is telling us. And we pull from our teacher and educator toolkit an arsenal of strategies, of very time, task, and directions to ensure students are able to maximize growth over time. What that might look like is students engaging in small group phonics and fluency lessons around the teacher table, while simultaneously another group of students are engaged in literacy circles where they're discussing the life applications of a story that they're reading. It also looks like guided reading or close reading where they're understanding deep comprehension, author's intent and purpose, and understanding the plot, the setting, the moral, the problem, the solution within a particular story. It looks like some facilitated whole group knowledge lessons that allow educators to anchor using criteria for success exemplars in the classroom that really help them anchor and provide visual and cognitive cues to help accelerate learning. It means stopping at nothing to maximize growth. We don't expect for growth to occur in an instant, but we do expect for progress to begin immediately. And so personalized learning is more of a general term, but there's a myriad of different implications that has on our intentional focus and intensive focus on ensuring students are maximizing their fullest potential.
And meeting students where they are.
Wherever they are.
Wherever they are and how they are is meeting them where they're at.
And it's not all about the academics and the cognitive either. Personalized learning also looks like we understand the whole of the child, what his or her triggers are, what soothes him or her, what stresses him or her out, so that we can ensure that back to the environment that the conditions for learning are appropriate, right? We want to respond both in a cognitive way, but also in a social and an emotional way to be responsible for the ownership of what the truly personalized learning experience looks like, feels like, sounds like for each diverse learner.
It is definitely not a traditional school setting. So, if you're looking for something different than what you see around you around Fort Worth, we are different. We are not traditional. We talk a lot about independent learning and small group tutoring and adaptive online learning, and all the things that you heard Superintendent Miller speak about of how our approach to academics and rigor. Mr. Miller, you talked about events and talk a little bit about, Rocket Ship. To Mr. Miller's point, we chose to be in the neighborhoods that we are, in the Woodhaven neighborhood and the Stop 6 neighborhood. And we're meant to be part of the community, not just visitors to the community or guests, but we want to be part of the fabric of the community. Can you talk a little bit about your thoughts around what a community school looks like from your perspective and how we do it at Rocket Ship?
Yeah, I think just the basis of it is that we become community by partnering with community, right? We want to be a sort of hub of resource and information sharing. School is the one place where everybody goes at some point. And so we have all of the social service and all of the, economic services, et cetera, that exist within communities, but they're disparate. You have to be plugged into the right sort of pipeline to gain access. What we seek to do is we seek to partner with organizations who are mission driven and service oriented to ensure that we are a mechanism for information flow and resource acquisition that our community needs at the time that they need it. So we want to distribute and be a channel to distribute information. We also want to be sensitive to what's going on in our communities and be a part of those initiatives. Everything doesn't have to be about Rocket Ship. There are many things that we are there with a very forceful and powerful presence because it's important to the community. We are partners in all things, not just academics. We're partners in safe environments. We're partners in violence and crime prevention. We're partners in get out the vote campaigns. Community schools are about being synergistic and hubs for collective impact to make sure that we catalyze transformative change, not only in the lives of our Rocketeers, but every single member of the community.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you brought that up because we talked about parent organizing committee a while ago. And one of the things that's unique about Rocket Ship is we actually have a parent organizing committee that meets every single month. We meet as a group, parents who they are trained on how to use their voice to access levers for change in their communities. They meet one-on-one with decision makers who are making decisions around budget decisions and workforce decisions, crime prevention, crime prosecution, law enforcement, all the things that make up our community, whether it be a community cleanup, providing signs and sidewalks, and whether businesses locate in our community that might be positive or negative for the community. We actually have parents and training. We train parents how to use their voice and organize, use their power to do what you just said, Mr. Miller, to be a voice for transformative change in the community and make our communities better. We offer before and after school care. So if as a parent, you're thinking about that, that's something we offer at both campuses. And I think, that's really it. That's a lot of information that we've shared. And for those of you who are watching right now, I want to encourage you to share this with someone, to scan the QR code. If you have any questions at all, you can go ahead and comment right underneath this video, and we will get back to you. Any questions that you have, you can reach out to us directly. You can ask for any of us. If you're looking for a school tour, we have that available for you. Miller, final thoughts for parents.
Yeah, my final thoughts are the single most radical thing you can do for the future of your children is become involved, deeply involved in their education. And I don't care whether it's Rocketship or not. So this will not be a plug for Rocketship per se. What I am advocating for is being unrelenting with making the choice. You are your child's first educator, and you know your child better than any other educator there is. And so be very active and assertive in your quest for ensuring your children have quality education. Know where they are academically, and if you need support, we have members of our team who are always willing to support.
Thank you, Mr. Miller, and thank you for joining us. Thank you all.